Chapter 9. Da, da, da. Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht. Aha. Anna Veronica is on her way to her parents from the summer house. She is driving through a grand valley, stretching miles and miles, with the landscape slowly becoming softer and milder. She takes in the view of adjacent, smaller valleys, hillsides, fields, forests, and mountains. Everything is dressed in the shining green colors of early spring. The birch trees are swaying their long angel wings softly in the breeze. The spruce is standing solid and strong. A mighty river runs along the highway. With the melting snow from the mountains, it has grown into a giant snake, turning and twisting powerfully in its wide path through the earth. High up on the hillsides are large mountain farms where people lived centuries ago and still live to this day. Anna Veronica wonders what their lives must have been like, the lives of their ancestors. She cannot even begin to imagine the hard work it must have been to clear those places of stone and preparing the land for farming. When Anna Veronica arrives at her parents in the afternoon, she is happy to get out of the car to stretch her back and neck. The first one to greet her is Odin, and the joy of seeing each other is mutual. No one knows unconditional love like a dog, and he seems to be back to his calm and loving normal self. Maybe a bit exhausted after his wild infatuation, but apart from that he is just fine. While they pat and stroke and wag and talk, Anna Veronica's parents come out to welcome her. They give each other a warm hug and continue to small talk while she unpacks the car and gets something to eat. A little later, she takes Odin for a walk in the forest. There is this special place that she loves, a beautiful spot with soft grass, mossy stones surrounded by tall birch trees and with a calming view over woods and hills in the distance. Anna Veronica often takes Odin to this place. In spite of his old age, he still loves to run and play and sniff and roll around in the grass. She laughs while watching him, often wondering what it must be like to be so happy all the time. When she sits down to rest, he comes to lie down next to her. Anna Veronica closes her eyes, fills her lungs with air, taking some slow, deep breaths in and out. She smiles on the inside as the afternoon sun is gently caressing her face, and while little breaths of wind are tenderly touching her cheeks. The sounds from nature fill her body with joy. The humming of a bumblebee, the songs of the birds in the trees, and the sound of the wind fluttering in the leaves. Anna Veronica lies down in the grass and looks up at the sky. Grandma's words come to her mind. Birds do not find it hard to fly. Fish do not find it hard to swim. They do what they are created to do. We all have something that we are created to do. This is our gift to this world. Anna Veronica has been thinking a lot about this lately. She knows that she loves to write stories, and that nothing comes more natural to her than that. She can write for hours and hours without much effort. Making a living out of it is a whole different story, though. This has been a challenge for years, until she surrenders and views her writing as a dear hobby. While she is lying there, Anna Veronica travels some years back in time. The sick leave is coming to an end, and she goes back to working part-time. Her job this semester will be to teach one class with immigrants who have come to Denmark later in their lives. Danish is their second language, and many of them know only little English. Anna Veronica is so relieved when she meets this class. They count 14 nationalities, herself included, and it turns out to be the loveliest group of people she has ever been a teacher for. They are sweet, polite, grateful, respectful, and genuinely interested in learning both Danish and English. To most of them, it means they might get a second chance in life, an education, and a job in Denmark. Anna Veronica is still communicating with Jacob, sometimes several times a day. He tells her that he will take time off from work and go and spend time with his family this winter, because his parents are getting older. He's there for weeks, but there is not a word from him about meeting up. Anna Veronica does not mention it. He is busy, and before she knows it, she finds herself once again in a completely unforeseen housing situation. It begins with Odin showing signs that he doesn't want to be in the apartment. If he's inside, he stands by the door wanting to go out. If he's outside and they call on him to come back in, he's reluctant. This is not like him at all. Then Anna Veronica starts to wake up in the mornings with her eyes feeling sore and dusty, and Alexander's eyes are becoming red and irritated. She notices that there is some dust coming from somewhere, but she cannot figure out from where. She wipes it off in the evenings, but it is there again the next morning. Cleaning and hoovering every inch of the apartment does not help. Anna Veronica cannot get her head around it and begins to mention it to people that she meets. Liam suggests that maybe it could be mold, and when she reads about it on the internet, she finds to her concern that it could very well be that. The house is built on a slope, making the apartment semi-basement, and on top of that, the cold season has been wet and rainy this year. She also reads that mold can be very dangerous for one's health, so she orders a test and takes a sample from some dark spots by the door. The answer comes quickly. Dangerous level of mold. Contact an expert. They have to get out as quickly as possible. Alexander goes to stay with his dad while Anna Veronica disinfects all her things and packs it in boxes. When she is done, she rents a van, and with the help from her youngest daughter, Julianne, and son, Alexander, they move her stuff to a storage room. They have a real job trying to fit everything into the small room, and Anna Veronica ends up fighting with the armchair until late in the evening. She is so close to collapsing on the floor in the middle of the huge storage building and crying her eyes out from exhaustion and frustration. When she finally finds room for it, her right elbow hurts badly, and for the next year she is having a hyperextension issue with it. Anna Veronica cannot find a new place to live at such short notice in the midst of this chaos, so she packs what she needs while she is on the road: clothes, shoes, toiletries, computer, school papers, work papers, and a yoga mat. She goes to live with her youngest daughter Julianne and her boyfriend for a couple of days before she stays with a friend for a week. After that, the 1 week winter holiday starts, and she will go to her parents in Norway together with Alexander. Anna Veronica is beginning to wonder why all this is happening to her. Why can she not seem to find a permanent place to live? While Anna Veronica is moving, Sophia's situation is taking a turn for the worse. Everything looked so hopeful around New Year, but then things start to change. She's in and out of hospital. The test results are not good, and the doctors are not giving her much hope. Anna Veronica goes to visit her while she's in hospital just before she goes to Norway. She doesn't know it at the time, but it will be the last time she sees her friend. While Anna Veronica is with her parents, things happen fast. Everyone is hoping and praying, but as the days pass, They are praying for a miracle. A few days after Anna Veronica is back in Denmark, Sophia dies from cancer. She leaves this earthly life. She crosses over the rainbow bridge to the other side. She reunites with her Creator. Hearts are broken, and for a long time many tears are shed. Anna Veronica has done nothing but die ever since her twin flame journey started, so the thought of death has become almost soothing to her. She doesn't share this with anyone. It's got nothing to do with suicide. It's just that this life is so hard. Besides, Sophia promised her that if she died, she would help out from the other side. They laughed a lot when they made that agreement. After the funeral, Anna Veronica goes to stay in a small hut at a campsite again. She hasn't found a new place to live, and with her health, her job situation, and her income hanging by a thin thread, she must try and keep the rent down as much as she can. Then the solution comes. Liam calls her, and she is welcome to live in the annex in the garden. It seems like a good solution, and the rent is okay, and they can share the kitchen and bathroom in the main house. So she moves in. Only now, Alexander has had enough with all her moving, and doesn't want to stay with her anymore. He wants to live with his dad until things change. Anna Veronica understands him well, but she's devastated. At this point, Anna Veronica is seriously beginning to ask herself why all this is happening to her. She was doing so well. She had work, she had income, she had her own home, she was happy being single, she was happy not to have a man in her life. Her children knew that their mom was okay, that she was on top of things, that she had control over her life. Now they wonder what the heck is going on, but there is no use trying to explain. After the summer holidays, Anna Veronica knows that there will be no mercy when it comes to work. She will be expected to work full-time and teach teenagers again, with classes up to 30 students. She is torn. She has been so fond of this work, her students and her colleagues, but after some time she knows what to do. Her health is at stake, and she has still not recovered from the stress. She has heard enough about how it works. You go back to work, have another collapse, take sick leave, go back to work, another sick leave, until you become part of a system that could last for years, at which point you might not be able to work at all, and if you are lucky, you get an early retirement. Anna Veronica is just not ready to face that. No way. So she quits her job. There must be other jobs she can do. She says farewell to her colleagues and her class. Her students arrange a farewell party for her and buy her gifts and cook lovely food for all in attendance to eat. One of her students, a former high school teacher in art, has made a beautiful painting for her. When Anna Veronica sees it, she just knows that it will be the cover for her next novel. The Easter holidays are coming up, and Anna Veronica finds herself on the way to visit Jacob in France for a third time. It has been 15 months since they last met, and although she has tried to fight it so hard, and he still has his guard up, her heart has become much softer with the challenges that she has faced, and seeing each other now feels soothing to her. Jacob is also facing his own challenges. With his parents getting older and needing assistance, his dream about living in southern France by himself is going down the drain. He is dreading going back, but there seems to be no other way. The time they spend together is lovely, but they are more neutral this time. There is no talk about any future together, and they just enjoy the time they have together and do not expect anything of each other. It's nothing like the first visit, but no one can stay in that high vibration for very long anyway. Still, the first time in France remains vivid in Anna Veronica's memory. If there ever was a heaven on earth, that was it. Although they are both exhausted from what Jacob describes as the bitch called life, they click just like before, and talk, laugh, kiss, touch, and make love. Jacob introduces her to yoga on the beach in the mornings, and with the mild early morning sun, the view over the ocean, surrounded by palm trees, life does not feel so bad after all. After yoga, they usually go to a nearby cafe for a coffee or a cappuccino. Then they head back to the apartment to shower. No screaming this time. Jacob has taken most of the days off, and they travel a lot in the area by car. They love listening to songs from the 80s while driving. It's Jacob's favorite decade ever, and many of the songs were hits when they were on the ski resort all those years ago. Jacob knows all the names of the songs, the albums, the artists, and the years of release. This is his great interest, and he is good at it. Anna Veronica, on the other hand, is terrible at it. Jacob is having a real laugh asking her about the songs and finding out that she simply does not remember. At some point he stops asking though, because it is becoming embarrassing even to him. There is one song that becomes their special song for this trip. It's a wonderfully stupid German song that once you have heard it, it will stick in your mind like glue. They don't know the lyrics, only the refrain, but that's enough. Aha, 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 da, 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 aha. Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht, aha. Throughout the whole stay, they will, ever so often, when least expected, in the most unlikely circumstances, look at each other with big eyes and a silly non-emotional expression, and begin to sing it to one another. Sometimes one of them will start with one sentence, and the other will sing the next. Sometimes they will sing it together. Aha, aha, aha. Da, da, da. Aha. Ich lieb dich nicht, du liebst mich nicht. Aha. Then they both laugh. I simply love this song. It's probably the most romantic song I know. Anna Veronica rests her chin in her hand with a theatrical smile on her lips. Aha. Jacob raises his eyebrows. Da, da, da. She nods in a slow and exaggerated manner. Aha, aha, aha. And so they could go on, the two of them happy together. One late afternoon, Jacob is standing by the window, waiting in eager anticipation for a thunderstorm which is on its way. Anna Veronica joins him, and they open the door to the veranda. Wow! Look at that! It's coming this way. Jacob is pointing towards the distance, and together they watch the dark clouds that are flowing in the sky. Wow! You can almost feel the tension in the air. Anna Veronica, of course, has not become any less sensitive these past years. Then after a few seconds of silence, they can hear the first gloomy sounds of thunder in the distance. Did you hear that? There is a look of awe in Jacob's eyes. Yes, that's Thor with the hammer. They watch as the trees begin to tremble from the wind and the first heavy raindrops fall. Then it breaks loose and the heavens open. Holy cow, I love this kind of weather. Imagine you get to experience this while you are here. Jacob is as excited as a little child. I know, it's great. They watch the rain hammering against the earth and the branches bowing deeply from the powerful forces of nature. Then a lightning cuts a huge crack in the sky, and another one. Did you see that? Yeah, wow. Anna Veronica is always enchanted by this kind of weather, but right now she's becoming more fascinated with Jacob's enthusiasm than she is with the storm. This is a side of him that she has never seen before. Did you hear that? That was the deep rumbling voice of the thunder, and Jacob is loving every second. Yes. She cannot take her eyes off Jacob. He is so funny. The way he's walking around in the living room, looking out of the windows, pointing to the sky, taking a few steps out on the veranda, hurrying back inside again, and making one excited comment after the other. You really like this kind of weather, don't you? She's almost puzzled. Yay! It's freaking awesome! The inner child is having a feast. Anna Veronica cannot help it, but seeing Jacob like this makes her heart sing. When they wake up the next morning, Anna Veronica goes out on the veranda to check if the storm has done any damage and if anything is missing. Some of the furniture has moved or tilted, and some pillows from the chairs have flown away. Anna Veronica doesn't know that she's being observed, but when Jacob comes out, he's laughing as he's copying her movements, walking around and checking things. This is you walking around and pondering about what has happened. You should have seen yourself. You are so funny. Jacob walks around the veranda, acting a little confused, his hand on his chin, totally lost in his own thoughts, taking one step here and one step there, walking around in a small circle, taking a sneaking look over at the neighbor's veranda to see if the pillows could be there, then checking if anyone saw him. Anna Veronica cannot stop laughing, and her heart cannot stop singing. Jacob's observational skills do not stop with this. One of his favorites is to copy her when they are in a cafe and Anna Veronica is drinking cappuccino. This is you when you drink cappuccino. Jacob takes the spoon from the small plate under the cup and tastes the cream on top. Your little finger is slightly raised. Jacob holds his little finger, trying to look like a real lady. Then you take the spoon all around the top of the cup in a slow circle and taste the sugar. Jacob copies every move of her tasting the sugar on top of the cup habit. Then you leave the spoon in the cup and take a sip. He is a real talent when it comes to acting, and Anna Veronica is just shaking her head and laughing. I never knew I drink cappuccino like that before now. Well, you do. It's quite spectacular. Uh-huh. Da, da, da. Now they are both laughing. Anna Veronica wonders. Jacob sees the tiniest little details in everything and finds them charming and cute. She has never met anyone with the gift of observation like him, and she cannot help it. Her heart will not stop singing. The days together are coming to an end. Jacob has started to pack and arrange for his return home, and will leave France only a couple of weeks after Anna Veronica is back in Denmark. They go to the beach on the last night of her stay. I think you will actually meet someone someday. Anna Veronica's heart sinks at Jacob's words. She knows that it is one of those sentences that will stay in her head. It's just that I have found someone. I have found you. It's a daring thing to say, and Jacob looks so torn at her words. A part of her still cannot fathom why he doesn't want this, but she is wise enough not to mention it. This connection that they have is not about expectations or obligations. Anna Veronica knows that by now. After this trip, They both wish they could have spent more time together. Jacob writes her that he wishes they had had 2 months together, and so does she. They miss each other and continue to write, sometimes several times a day. I miss having you around, talking to you about everything and laughing at silly things, kissing you every day and giving each other massage, making love. Anna Veronica cannot help it. She misses the time they spend together. But soon Jacob is withdrawing. I don't know if I could ever have a conventional relationship and be happy in it. I come under the heading of damaged goods now. We're all damaged goods. I understand if you never want a relationship again, but I would be grateful and relieved if you'd just let me know. I'm not conventional. You don't seem conventional either. I am surprised you want to know where you stand. I know you're not a fan of relationships, and I understand that. But yes, I would really like to know. Then, as soon as Jacob is back home, things begin to change. It gets to Anna Veronica that he's living with his wife, and Jacob seems to fall into a deep, dark hole. At one point he writes to her that he could never leave his wife for another woman. Those words make it all so clear, and anything but easy, but there is nothing more to talk about then. Anna Veronica knows what she has to do. Let it all go once and for all, and move on. Once again, she's asking herself why on earth she has been hanging on to this for so long. So Anna Veronica tries to let it all go, and they stop writing to each other. She understands by now that this connection to Jacob will not go away just like that, and that it's all about her own healing. Nevertheless, she feels as if she's being torn apart. She only wants to push it away. Why does it have to be so painful? There must be a way for her to move on and get her life back on track. It gets to the point where it becomes ridiculous. One night she's in the annex, lying in the bed, curled up like a frail bundle of nerves, in a state of utter despair and pain, praying to God to at least let her cry. Why will the pain not stop? Please, 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 let me cry. Please, 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 let me cry. At least let me cry, please. Anna Veronica sheds a few tears, but that is all. It helps a little, but then the pain continues. She used to be so strong. Fuck this journey. Fuck this journey. Anna Veronica continues to seek answers in the videos about twin flames and goes back to the information and advice that she finds in them every so often. This kind of connection is about ascension. It's smashing through blueprints that go generations and generations back. This kind of connection takes down old templates. It's about clearing out old DNA programming from thousands of years. There is not one family on this planet who do not have traumas from war, depression, suicide, violence, sexual abuse, mental or physical illness in their lineage. This kind of connection is the most accelerated, fast-track and ultra-intense clearing program available. People are finding true, unconditional love when they least expect it. They are falling deeply, madly and irrevocably in love with the other half of their soul. This is not a normal relationship. You must not define this connection from what you have learnt. Anna Veronica is shedding layer after layer. She takes a deep look at her own patterns and belief systems. After doing some serious soul searching, she realizes that there are so many she's not even aware of. Those that lurk in her subconscious, those that live in her body and mind, those that fill her cells and are active in her DNA. Anna Veronica is beginning to truly understand that this clearing process goes back generations. It's about bringing out the dark and finding what has been hidden. So she tries, and she tries, and she tries. This is when she comes up with a text to her tombstone. At least she died trying. After a while, some things begin to dawn on Anna Veronica. Did she ever really feel worthy of love? For just being who she is? Not for any particular reason. Not because she does this or that, or helps out, or lives up to anyone else's expectations, but for just being who she is? Anna Veronica is asking herself some honest questions. How about rejection? There are so many times in her life that she has felt rejected, and she feels rejected every time Jacob doesn't want to be with her. She begins to look even deeper into her own past and the history of her family. Did anyone in her whole family ever feel worthy of love? Like really, really worthy of love for just being who they are? The advice is clear. This connection is about you. It's about you finding love for yourself. Now Anna Veronica understands that she must practice loving herself, so she tries, and she tries, and she tries. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Did you hear that, Anna Veronica? I love you. You stupid cow. You cannot forget a married man who is not getting a divorce. Let it go, for heaven's sake. Anna Veronica's internal dialogues are at times like this, starting out on a good note, then becoming, how to put it, a little frustrated and angry. It's about the evolution of the soul. Evolution up my butt. It's a dark catalyst serving a great purpose. Yeah, whatever. Embrace it, allow it. Great advice, mate. Piece of cake. Surrender to the journey. Sure, no problem. The soul is trying to balance the feminine and masculine parts of yourself. Don't give me that crap. It's true though. Shut the fuck. Anna Veronica is under an immense pressure. It feels like an internal war, as if she is in a constant battlefield. At times it feels like a raging war within, and it's exhausting, and it continues unabated. Anna Veronica is in pain, and it's bad. There comes a point when she is shouting to the universe, "Stop it now! Let me go! Don't fuck with me! Set me free!" There are times when Anna Veronica feels like she is dying. She is fighting this death process so hard, wanting it so badly to go away so that she can live her life. There are times when the intensity of the journey feels like a curse, like someone has cast an evil spell on her. There are days when she wishes she were not here. She is no longer sure when it happened, but in the midst of all this, one day Anna Veronica begins to feel compassion for herself. She is in tears when it happens, overwhelmed with gratitude, and the sensation is like nothing else she has ever experienced before. It's a feeling that comes towards her, like an energy flowing to her, all around her, within her, and then coming from her. It's a gentle, loving, and caring feeling within. After all the pain and heartache, she feels love and compassion for herself. Anna Veronica is beyond grateful, and she wishes everyone could feel compassion for themselves like this. Everyone deserves that. Being a lover of words, Anna Veronica reckons compassion comes from compassion, or the other way around. From now on, Slowly but surely, she begins to feel a spark of life coming back to her. She wants to embrace her passion for writing. She wants to write again. She wants to write about her journey. After this, Anna Veronica begins to feel her heart. It's accompanied by many tears. It feels like an energy field of love in her chest, and as the days and weeks pass, it opens up more and more, not for any particular reason. It's just a feeling of love. She's overwhelmed by this experience, and it is during this time that the idea of making YouTube videos is born. She wants to share these experiences with others. Only 1 year ago, it would have been unthinkable for her to do something like this, but now her soul is calling.